I've been back a week now. My parents have been on their fancy cruise for 5 days today. It goes so fast. Someone posted up a meme on Instagram the other day saying, we're halfway through 2023. And oh my goodness, we really are. I had such a list of things that I was going to do this year to make myself more accountable. And I've spoken about this before. So, diversifying from only selling on one e-commerce site for my business. I've done that in that I have set up my own website via Shopify. That is fully up and running. I've implemented new money saving things like only using cashback apps and loyalty points for shopping. So I'm making a tiny income from actually doing my shop, because if I use loyalty points and gift cards from surveys and use the cashback apps to get the cash back, then I'm physically making actual cash back as well as profit cash back, if that makes any sense. I've also now started selling on eBay, but I'm only selling stuff that I already own. I'm pretty sure there's no real living to be made from actually selling on eBay. When I looked at the profits that I'd made from what I had sold so far, bearing in mind the things that I sold were other things that were given to me for free, or things that I had in my own wardrobe, like clothes I'd had for 15-20 years, I made an actual profit of about £23 after eBay had taken its fees and I'd paid out the postage for those items, because I was doing free postage and ramping up the price of the items instead. So I made £23 on, I think it was like 6 items I sold. So that really was profit to me, because all the items were either free or I'd had them so long their value had gone. So if I bought a dress 20 years ago, I don't know what I'm making back off it. It doesn't matter. But if I'd gone into a charity shop or somewhere else and physically bought those things, even if I'd only paid £1 for each, which is tough work in a charity shop these days, you could have knocked another £6 off that. But it's nice to have a clear out, and I still have quite a lot of stuff to sell. I have a queue of things that I need to list once I get back, and I'm putting some stuff off my Etsy store, which is kind of vintage rather than stuff that I've made, which can also go on there. I mean, when I say vintage, I'm talking 20-year-old clothes, some of which I've altered. So I'll shovel those on there as well. And I'll start listing those while I'm down here, so that they end, say, the day I get back, and that means I've gained, say, 10 days. It just sells things faster. So there's that. Trying to make my money work better for me, so savings in better accounts, doing more surveys, more market research. As things stand at the moment, my income will be better than last year, which is not really anything to shout about. It's not an enormous amount of money, but anything is better. But of course, we are only halfway through the year, and a lot can change in 6 months. I had a lot of work that I wanted to do while I was down here. It's not really a holiday, it's a change of scenery. I had a lot of product photography I wanted to do. There's more space down here. There are bigger spaces, tables, lots more light, so I can shoot products, particularly small product, a lot better. So I brought lots of the small things down that I make, like the jewellery and the upcycle braided coasters that I do, and I've been doing all sorts of new product photography that I can upload to Etsy, to my own website shop, and I'm going to make a concerted effort to use Pinterest, because I'm advised that Pinterest is better than social media, and social media doesn't work. It's absolute rubbish. I'm still trying to list reasonably consistently on Instagram. I load to Reels and I load images to my business page. You're not going to get any sales from that. It's so oversubscribed, it's ridiculous. But I heard a statistic the other day that the average Etsy seller makes £1,449 a year, which actually means I've been doing really well. That means I'm selling above the average, and I thought I was doing incredibly badly, and God knows what this year is going to look like, because everyone's feeling the pinch, and you can see there's a lot of browsing going on, a lot of looking, a lot of wishful thinking, but no one's buying stuff. Because why would you buy jewellery and clothes when you need to put food on the table? And I don't want to be responsible for that kind of debt. So we shall see how things go. We're plodding along, we're making inroads and doing what we can to still feel in control. But I can't believe I've been down here a week already. I've pretty much just worked. Just popping to Sainsbury's because tomorrow I'm going on a picnic with an old school friend. We hooked up again a couple of years ago. She's never left the home village, and every time I come back, so every quarter, we arrange to meet up. And it's really weird because I hadn't seen her since, well, it would have been 1992 when I left school. Gosh, that makes me sound so incredibly old. And it's literally in the last couple of years that we've been meeting up regularly, staying in touch. And it's really nice because she was one of the few friends I had at school that wasn't a bully. Well, bullies aren't friends, but you know what I mean. And she's the only one that I know of that's still in the area. And the only one that, to be honest with you, I would care to meet with anyway. School was not a happy place for me. So it's nice just to be able to catch up. She works freelance in social care, but she also runs her own little part-time business doing furniture restoration, which is fantastic. But like me, she works from home. It's a difficult working environment. I mean, furniture restoration it's a lot more difficult to run at home than what I do, where I can just stuff things in boxes. When you're halfway through painting and varnishing and sanding down a sideboard, there isn't much space for that. So it's quite seasonal work because you can't be doing that in winter because you need ventilation. So it's nice to be able to see what's going on in her neck of the woods. And I think work's quite buoyant for her. She doesn't restore huge amounts of furniture, so she's always got a demand because it's a very niche market, and she does a good job with what she does. And I think she'd like to turn it into a full-time job, although whether it would realise the money that she earns from her other job, I don't know. She'd need a workshop to work in. That's going to cost money going out. Workshops are not cheap. Not cheap at all. So I can't see that happening in the near future. In the same way for me, you know, I've got no chance of getting a workshop. It's like an unnecessary expense when you can muddle along at home. So there we are, end of week 1. It's been productive, but I haven't been out on any walks apart from that one that I did when I first arrived. And I feel like the break, the change of scenery is already slipping away from me. Before I know it, I'm going to be home again. We've still had no rain, although it's set to change at the weekend, and although the temperatures are going to really rocket, it's supposed to rain all weekend. And back home, because I've been watching the weather reports back home, no rain there, a lot hotter, things may have already died. But there's like 4 days of rain coming. So I'm hoping if things outside are still alive, that they're hanging in there, that the rain will do its job and will help it to limp through. Who knows? It gives me a little hope though that I might come back to potatoes at least. So that's my less than exciting update really. I like a drama-free life, but I don't suppose it makes a very interesting YouTubing, because people like drama, disaster, and stories of people leading terrible lives. There's a guy who runs a channel out in America that I've recently come across, and he basically goes around America looking at the worst places to live, looking at the poverty and the broken down towns and the ghettos. And he does those, but he also does some that are positive stories, you know, communities and neighbourhoods that have managed to regenerate themselves and have got better. But he says he doesn't get as many views on those as he does the depressing ones, because people like to see a bit of suffering, don't they? I suppose it helps them realise that their own lives aren't quite as bad. Well, that's depressing. And I've watched some of his stuff and I don't think I'm going to watch any more because it's just too depressing. And you have to be really careful what you watch. I mean, if you looked at just his channel, you'd think that the whole of America was one giant ghetto, that there was no work and high-end poverty and crime and violence. But America's a big place, and there are plenty of places that are probably thriving despite everything that's going on at the moment. So I try not to watch too much of that stuff. It's not good for you, and it's not realistic. You need to get a balance of opinions when you're looking at things like that, because not everything is bad. No matter what we all might say. I'm not a doom scroller or a doom mongerer. I ain't got no time for that. So yeah, I'm heading to Sainsbury's to get some provisions for tomorrow's picnic, because I feel bad going along with nothing when my friend has done loads of home baking. But I'm buying it on Nectar Points because I really can't afford to spend the extra money on food for like a one-day event. So I'm buying on Nectar Points. Still my money, I suppose. And there's a couple of freebies on the cashback app, so I'm going to see if I can find them. This Sainsbury's, although it's not really convenient, it's a 20-minute drive, is a lot bigger than my one back home. And very often I don't find things on apps in the stores, because the stores that I go to are quite small and they don't have the full ranges. But we might find things today. The price of petrol up here is crazy. You go south and the prices all change. You think petrol will be the same everywhere, but it isn't. It's almost 10 pence a litre, or 0.10 pence of a litre more expensive. Loads of places to park. Nice and quiet. Back from the shops, well, back to the car, still at the shops. I've got everything I needed. I spent £7.59. £7.50 I spent using Nectar points. So that has cost me 9p. And so I got the grapes. They came with a yellow sticker, £1.59. They were £2. I've saved 49p, 39p, I don't know, whatever I've saved. But I was going to get them anyway because they are for the picnic. I bought a birthday card because I needed to buy a birthday card. And I managed to get the two cashback things, which isn't something I'd normally buy. They're called recovery shakes. So they're basically, there's a chocolate milkshake and a vanilla fudge. I'm just looking for use by dates. And I can't find any. I don't know if that means they last forever. Don't seem to have any dates on them. So I'm going to try and hang on to those for as long as I can. These were £2 each, but Green Gin or Green Genie are doing them for free. So that means that of the £7.50 I spent in Nectar points, therefore not costing me anything, I'm also going to get £4 back in my bank account. So I've kind of just profited by £4. So that's pretty good. And I get to scan my receipts into the Shopix app, get a few points from that. So that's all fun. So let's head home. I feel really spoilt for choice while I'm down here. My parents don't scrimp when it comes to food. So tonight for tea, I'm having a Charlie Bingham's lasagna, and I've looked online and these are £6 each. This is a lasagna for one person and that's £6. The price of things these days is crazy. I saw a YouTube short the other day and someone had found a pack of Weetabix. I can't remember what size the packet was. I've got a feeling it was a 72, so it was big, but it was £8. And I've seen coffee in the supermarket for £12 a jar, and I think I've recorded some of that somewhere before on YouTube, and I know other people have seen it for £12. Food price is just an absolute joke, so I'm really making the most of my 3 weeks away and just trying to get those bills down and just enjoy the fridge and freezer that my mum has filled up on my behalf. is just insane. Yesterday I went on a picnic with my old school friend and it was fantastic. We went to a woodland that she knows really well but I've never been to, and it was so beautiful, and we found a fallen log that we could sit on like a bench, and she homemade all this fantastic food because she's really great in the kitchen, and it was really nice, and we had her dog with us, so it was a really nice day out. And I like those little moments. I don't do them very often, and I'm okay with not doing them that often because peopling is hard work. But we had a really, really good time, and it was a really nice way to spend the day. I'm pleased we went yesterday rather than at the weekend because it's barely lunchtime and it's already 26 degrees here. The rain that was forecast, we were going to have a 2-day deluge of rain with very high temperatures. The high temperatures are here, but the rain isn't. It's absolutely roasting. As I say, it's barely lunchtime and I've had to come in and stay in. Although I think had we been in the woods today, I think it would have been really cool. I didn't take any pictures of what we were doing. I find it too invasive when you're just enjoying the moment. If you're faffing around with your camera trying to take videos and things, and particularly when you're with people that don't really do social media, which is nice. I don't particularly want a camera stuck in my face either. So the only thing I did, because I love taking short videos of the trees and the tree lines and things like that, so I did that. So I've included that one here. But that's all you're going to get from me on the picnic. The food was amazing. I'm pleased I can't cook as well as her, because if I could, I would just be eating so much food. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this update. It's not much been happening. I've really just been working, enjoying the peace and quiet, enjoying the garden, and just getting on with things really. So it's kind of like normal life, but not at home, and I quite enjoy that. It's crazy that I've been here for just over a week now. It's going so fast. I hate it. I don't want to go home ever. I want to stay here forever, but I also want to be here on my own because it's more tranquil. It's quieter. It's less drama. But of course, this isn't my home, and in a couple of weeks I'll have to give it back again. But hey ho, never mind.